It's good stuff. Kevin Smith, welcome to St. Petersburg, Florida.
Thank you. It's gorgeous. I've seen it in the day. It looks nice at night as well.
Yeah.
But I can vouch for it in the daytime because we've been shooting here all day. And man, it's lovely. I've been saying since we've been down here shooting, like anywhere you turn a camera is production value. You know, it's like, especially we're telling a story that involves a character from the same region. So the banyan trees, the palms, all that stuff, like just really lends to it. It kind of lends, for lack of a better description, Southern Gothic element to it. So being here, if we were to shoot this at any place else, Los Angeles, we'd have to build all that stuff. And here you just kind of turn the camera around, turn it on, and it's there in the background. It's gorgeous.
It's hard to fake this somewhere else.
You're not kidding, man. We were shooting right here on the water today, this beautiful house. And we just had like boats in the near background. Some people kind of cruising in were curious. But they didn't ruin our shot. You couldn't see them looking down the barrel, and then we got some free production value. You pay somebody to do that normally.
That's kind of the fun thing around here is people just like the fact that stuff is happening. You know, they're like, "What's going on?"
We saw dolphins as well when we wrapped. You don't get that, you know, many places and stuff. It was crazy. They were just off breaching the water and going back down. So it's beautiful. We didn't get to catch that with the cameras because, you know, you can't get a dolphin to go on cue, not since the days of Flipper. But it's been an incredible shooting experience here. In terms of giving this character Kilroy like a home, once we decided we were shooting here, we were like, all right, set it in the area, set it in this area of Florida. Like, don't be like, this is in Los Angeles and we're just shooting here and calling it LA. Kind of build it into the community, into like Pinellas County, into the surrounding area.
So you wrote the storyline to essentially take place here.
Originally it was written for Christmas time in like Germantown, Pennsylvania. But when we reworked it for this area, and it's turned out quite nice, like way better than it would have been if we were shooting in the snow. You know, it's even at night, we were shooting last night in this park, was Benderson Park or something like that. Gorgeous, like everything behind our actors, in front of our actors, the atmosphere just looked great. So this part of the country, you know, you'll see it in a lot of like TV and whatnot, but it doesn't have its own little mythical monster.
And it's not overshot yet either.
No,
you
that's
know?
what I like about it.
You haven't seen it too much.
No, it's not overly familiar, and so, you know, you're certainly not Christopher Columbus or something, but you get to discover an area of the world on film for movies that other people haven't gotten to yet and oversaturated.
Yeah.
So we've gotten lucky.
And you've got a chance to work with some of the awesome crew that we have here locally.
Fantastic crew base, and I say that as a guy who's worked with crews like in New York, in Los Angeles, up in Vancouver, shooting TV shows. Crew that I worked with on Kilroy moved equally as fast as the crew that I just worked with on Supergirl up in Vancouver a few months ago. So I told them that. I was like, take it for what it's worth, man. You're as good as the crew on Supergirl. And, you know, it's a professional crew. They bang out 22, 23 episodes a season on a really tight clock. And these cats are doing the same thing here. So you get served well in this area as a filmmaker. It's not like you got to drag in a bunch of crew from the outside world because nobody knows what they're doing here. All of our keys and all the crew turned out to be absolutely tremendous.
So what are your plans for this project? Like, where do you see this going? What do you
Well, we shot the first chapter this week, and then we're going to come back and work again with the Ringling Kids and Semcor, David Shapiro, the production company that we've been working with, and shoot the other 3 segments, the other 3 stories. Then we'll have a complete feature, and then we're going to take it out on the film festival circuit, and then, you know, hopefully you get a sale. I think we will. But for me, they said, why don't you come down and shoot a web series? But, you know, I felt like, let's shoot a movie. You go to film school because you want to make a movie. So let's all kind of make a movie together. And it's an adorable story in terms of, like, being user-friendly for a film festival. It's like, this is a movie that's made with kids from a film school as well. So I feel like, you know, it's going to have a really wonderful life on the midnight circuit at film festivals and stuff. And that's where I've been living lately with Tusk and Yoga Hoser. So this will probably be in that same sphere.
That's cool. And so it'll be, are you going to air the 3 chapters separately, or are you going to work them, like, just combine them all together?
All is one movie. There's 3 chapters, and there's a framing device that wraps them all together that explains our Kilroy character. So it'll play as a movie, kind of like Creepshow, is a movie that we modeled it after, a movie that I loved when I was a kid.
Yeah, the Anthology series is something you don't see much
anymore. They do well. There's like been the ABC's of Horror and VHS, like it's kind of making a comeback and whatnot. And this, though, is very very 80s. It feels like it was completely plucked out of that era of filmmaking, of monster movie making. And we got a main character that's kind of like our version of Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers. And now he, you know, if we do our jobs correctly, he will belong to Florida. If we really do our jobs correctly, people will assume that that was a suburban or urban legend that we just kind of made a movie out of. That would be nice. Very meta.
Do you have some ideas then for? I know, like now we're thinking way ahead because you're not even done with this one yet. But like another like monster kind of thing. You know, there's other kinds of weird. There's a weird Florida thing called the skunk ape.
Yes, I've heard.
Yeah.
Somebody was telling me this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the guy to bring skunk ape to life because that feels like it belongs to the locals, and for a stranger to come in and start skunk aping it would be bad. But I know if this works, we'll certainly come back and do more Kilroy. But now, once you're in a place, that's the beauty of going on location shooting. You go to a place and suddenly it lives in your head and heart, and then the next things you write, it becomes like a digital repository that you can kind of file through your head and be like, oh, I remember if I need something on the water, I remember this place in St. Petersburg that was kind of perfect. So in the future when I write, like I can write to this now, knowing that it's here.
So in your mental Rolodex, you can just kind of
Very much,
work through it. I love the idea of like sort of that the '80s thing. You know, that's my era and your era growing
That's
up.
where we
So
grew up,
you know, Stranger Things and
they're back in a big bad way.
Yeah,
It's-
even the new trailer for the most recent Thor film, like all the credits and everything.
That
are
felt so
straight outta-
80s. It's nuts,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, totally. Everything that kind of goes around comes around, as they say. And right now, like we're at the tail end of 80s nostalgia. 90s nostalgia is burgeoning, but this summer there's an 80s nostalgia vibe still in the air.
Yeah, good. Well, you know, we hope we're not going to have to wait another 30 years to get into the 80s to bring you back again after you wrap.
I will be
after you wrap
back
this up.
as quickly as possible, man. Like I said, we'll be back in December so we can finish out the flick. And then if all goes well, it'd be something that perennially we would like to do. If it's not Kilroy, it'd be something else. But come down every year, every other year, and kind of shoot a movie with the kids. It's kind of fun.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here.
Love being here,
Looking
man.
forward to it. Thank you to Kevin Smith.
Yay, Pinellas County, St. Petersburg.